The next bill on the calendar for today is Senate File 571. The clerk will report the bill.
Senate File number 571, number 2 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to trust, the first engrossment.
There is an amendment at the desk. If there is no objection, we'll let the author explain the bill before the amendments. I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Scott, who will explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this is the Minnesota Bar Association's, one of their bills, comes from their trust division. And just a little brief history on the trust code in the state of Minnesota. In 2015, the legislature did a big overhaul of it. Speaker Emerita Horton was the bill's author. And over the past 10 years, the Bar Association has really monitored appellate court decisions and developments in other states, as well as looked at the technical issues that have arisen after the revamping of the trust code. And what we have before us then is a result of that careful look. And just a few highlights of the bill. It lengthens the amount of time that a trust can exist. At least 35 other states have extended their maximum duration for trusts. This bill sets a time period that is roughly the median of other states' maximum durations. And then this also clarifies the fiduciary responsibilities for people who hold different roles related to directed trusts. It increases the size of a trust that can be terminated without a court proceeding, and that goes from 50,000 to 150,000. So the folks with trusts in that category don't have to go to court to have the proceeding proceed. This modifies our current statutes that bans estranged parents from inheriting from their children. Currently, there's a prohibition for estranged parents from inheriting from their minor children. This extends that to children of all ages. And finally, the bill codifies a handful of recent appellate court decisions that construed various elements of the revised trust code. And those are the highlights of the bill, Madam Chair.
There is an amendment at the desk. The clerk will report the amendment.
Scott moves to amend Senate File number 571, the first engrossment. The amendment is coded A1.
I recognize the author of the amendment, Representative Scott, who will explain the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This amendment incorporates a request from the Minnesota Indian Affairs Council. The language simply clarifies that the estranged parent inheritance section of the bill, Section 29, does not apply to Indian trust lands. And this would already be likely the result in current law, but this is sort of the belt and suspenders approach, and we wanted to make that crystal clear, and that's what the amendment does. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Discussion to the amendment. I recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Moeller.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Chair Scott, for this amendment, and to Chair Liebling also for your agreement with this amendment. I want to encourage members to vote yes for it. This is really important that we're considering that we have 11 sovereign tribal nations in our state, and whenever we're doing things, especially related to land and property, we should never forget that we should also be considering how the legislation that we're enacting impacts those tribal nations. And I just want to thank MIAC for their work on this, and also the State Bar Association for their willingness to work on this as well. Thank you.
Further discussion to the amendment? Representative Scott.
I encourage members' support.
All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those opposed say nay. The motion prevails and the amendment is adopted. Third reading.
Third reading, Senate File number 571, as amended.
Third reading. Further discussion to the bill as amended. I recognize the member from Olmsted, Representative Liebling.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members, and thank you, Chair Scott, for your really good explanation of the bill. I just rise to tell members that I would recommend a green vote. Thank you.
Any further discussion to the bill? Representative Scott.
It's a good bill, and I would encourage members' support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The clerk will take the roll. The clerk will call the name of the member participating remotely.
Swazinski.
Swazinski, aye.
Swazinski, aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 134 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed as amended and its title is agreed to.